for you. It helps you in all you do. It helps you know you do. So tune in and now enjoy the fun. It's time for English, everyone. Studio Classroom is on the air. You can watch it everywhere. English is the way to go. So join us now, enjoy the show.
Hello friends and welcome to Studio Classroom. My name is Anne-Marie.
And my name is Gabe. We're very happy that you are joining us here for our second day on our lesson about thinking green.
That's right. Yesterday we started looking at some ways we can begin to think more green in our everyday lives to create a more sustainable lifestyle.
We talked about three things in particular: eating green, also style with a purpose, and eco-friendly homes. What's one thing you can do to eat green? Well, you can choose produce that was grown locally. That way you can reduce transportation and curb pollution.
While we were talking about style with a purpose, we mentioned how fast fashion is very detrimental to the planet. It's just really bad for the planet and it's not sustainable. So it's better to extend the life of the clothing you already have, or even try a rental service if you need to buy something new.
And one thing you can do in your homes is switch some of your appliances to eco-friendly appliances. I know at first you have to spend a little bit of money, but over time it actually does save both money and energy. Well, we do want to get into today's part of our lesson. Today, of course, is a great day to learn something new.
So let's do that together.
Think green. Green transportation. Nearly everything with wheels and a motor uses fossil fuels. But if you reduce your personal vehicle usage by utilizing public transportation, you'll be helping to cut down on carbon emissions. And for those who need to drive, regular vehicle maintenance can ensure that your vehicle is both safe and fuel efficient.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 首先来看动词 utilize， 意思是利用或使用。譬如 to make more room in her classroom, Mrs. Collum decided to utilize the area under the stairs for storage space. 为了在教室里创造更多的空间， Collum 女士决定利用楼梯下面的空间来储存东西。或是In an effort to save energy, the city began to utilize solar panels on public buildings. 为了节省能源，该市开始在公共建筑上使用太阳能板。再看一句 The engineers utilized advanced software to test their designs before actual building began. 在实际建造之前，工程师们利用先进的软体先测试他们的设计。再来看 maintenance 这个名词，意思是维护、保养。譬如 regular maintenance of your car can prevent costly repairs and extend its life. 定期保养汽车可以避免昂贵的维修费用，并延长汽车的使用年限。或是 After the storm, the city's maintenance crews cleared tree branches and bushes from the roads. 暴风雨过后，市府维护人员清理了道路上的树枝和矮树丛。或是 Pauline set aside part of her money for the maintenance of her garden, so it would be healthy all year round. Pauline 把部分的钱留下来，用在花园的维护，这样花园一整年都会很健康。
All right, thank you, Jack. We are going to get into our lesson by talking about green transportation. Nearly everything with wheels and a motor uses fossil fuels. But if you reduce your personal vehicle usage by utilizing public transportation, you'll be helping to cut down on carbon emissions. Now, the first thing we want to look at here, friends, is this phrase to cut down on something. If you cut down on something, it means you do it or use it less.
Yeah, I often hear people talk about how they need to cut down on their sugar intake or cut down on caffeine. Maybe they used to have 5 cups of coffee a day, but now they're cutting down to only 2 cups of coffee, so they're cutting down on caffeine.
All right, you could also cut down on calories. And as you can see here, friends, these are all things that you consume, just like cars consume gas. So that might be a good way for you to remember that phrase. All right, reading on. And for those who need to drive, regular vehicle maintenance can ensure that your vehicle is both safe and fuel efficient. Now, in the language lab a moment ago, you just saw that word maintenance. And of course, that is the way you keep up with something. You can say this about your appearance as well. For example, you could do skin maintenance, or you could do maintenance on your hair as well. That's to make sure your hair stays healthy and shiny.
And there's a related word. If you add the word high to maintenance, something or somebody can be high maintenance. We often use this to refer to people who need a lot of attention and need a lot of people to pay attention to them and do a lot of things for them. So that person may be high maintenance.
I've seen this phrase used in 2 different ways when you talk about people. First of all, it can refer to the amount of time that someone needs to take care of themselves. So if someone is high maintenance, it could mean that they need a lot of time to put on their makeup. They maybe have to wear very expensive clothing. Maybe they need a lot of time to get ready in the morning. But I also see this used in the way that Gabe was just mentioning, and that has to do more of an emotional high maintenance.
Yeah, emotionally high maintenance, right? But here we're talking about maintaining your car, maintaining your scooter, or whatever vehicle that you have. You want to take it in for regular maintenance, right? So this can ensure that your vehicle is both safe and fuel efficient. If something is fuel efficient, that means it does not use a lot of fuel, especially compared to other vehicles, because there are some vehicles that are gas guzzlers. Do you know what a gas guzzler is?
Oh, a gas guzzler is a vehicle that uses up a lot of gas, and often more gas than the average vehicle.
That's right. When you were in university, did you have a gas guzzler, or did you drive another type of more fuel efficient car?
I had a more fuel efficient car. It had good gas mileage.
Good. Okay, that's the opposite. Okay, if something has good gas mileage, that means you can go farther on the same amount of gas. If it's a gas guzzler, that means it's the same amount of gas, but you really can't go for as long, right? Of course, you want to try to buy a vehicle that is more fuel efficient and try to stay away from gas guzzlers. All right, well, that's green transportation. Next, we're going to talk about green tourism. Here we go.
Think green. Green tourism. When you plan a trip, try to avoid air travel. And when you do fly, look for airlines that are conscious of their carbon footprint. When you arrive at your destination, take it slow and embrace the local culture. A few thoughtful days in one place is more gratifying than a hurried week of trying to see it all.
接下来看 gratify 这个动词，意思是使满足。譬如 seeing the positive impact of her volunteer work on the community helped to gratify Natalie's desire to make a difference. 看到她的志愿工作对社区的正面影响时， Natalie 改变世界的渴望得到满足。gratify 的现在分词 gratifying 也可以当形容词用，意思是心满意足的。譬如 completing the marathon was a gratifying experience for Paul as it reflected months of hard training and dedication. 完成马拉松对 Paul 来说是一次满足的体验，因为它体现了数个月的艰苦训练和奉献精神。或是 The chef found it deeply gratifying when customers complimented the unique flavors of his dishes. 当客人称赞这位厨师的菜肴有独特的风味时，他感到非常满足。
Okay, thank you, Jack. Let's look at green tourism, friends. When you plan a trip, try to avoid air travel. Now, this may be pretty impossible to do if you're flying to another country or if you live in a country that you weren't born in and you need to visit family. But I think what the author is talking about here is going on vacations.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was like, what are you supposed to do? Take a cruise to America? You know how long that's going to take?
Yes, I think what we're talking about here is planning vacations that are more eco-friendly.
Sure, and especially with those countries that may be close by, a cruise or a boat trip there could actually be an option. The point is, take as few flights as possible, right? So we read here, when you do fly, look for airlines that are conscious of their carbon footprint. We already talked about what someone's carbon footprint is. That is the measurement of the amount of carbon dioxide that your activities produce. So that's your carbon footprint. And we talk about the carbon footprint not only of people, but of everything that produces carbon dioxide in the world.
That's right. We also see that word conscious here in this sentence, friends. If you are conscious of something, it means that you are aware of it or you know that it's happening. So if you're conscious of your carbon footprint, then you know how much energy you're using, you know the impact of your travel on the environment. Here's another way to use that word. When you're giving criticism to others, be conscious of how your words affect them.
Yeah, because I also think about the word aware when I think of conscious. And we often use them in the same way. You can be aware of something or conscious of something. I think one difference to keep in mind is that being conscious is like, it involves or includes the idea of how that thing may affect other people, whereas being aware of something is simply just having the knowledge of something. So you want to be conscious of your carbon footprint because that, of course, will impact our world.
Okay, when you arrive at your destination, take it slow and embrace the local culture. Sometimes when we go on vacation, we want to do everything all at once, get up super early in the morning and pack our day full of activities. But our writer's suggestion here is to take it slow. That means that the pace you're going at isn't fast. I often see this phrase used when talking about relationships. They just got together, they're boyfriend and girlfriend now, and they've decided to take their relationship slow.
So they're taking it slow. Whenever I see this phrase, it automatically makes me think of that song Kokomo by the Beach Boys. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. You want to get to your destination fast, but with a relaxing place like Kokomo, it's nice to just take it slow.
A few thoughtful days in one place is more gratifying than a hurried week of trying to see it all. See it all is a great phrase too, friends. If you see it all, it means that you want to see everything. We sometimes also use this phrase with the word do, to do it all. We use this to talk about people's lives as well sometimes. He's really doing it all. That means he has a lot on his plate. His schedule is very full.
When we were when my wife and I visited Germany, we visited some friends and we wanted to do everything that was there. But our friends reminded us, hey, you just need to take it slow. You don't need to see it all this time. Just really relax and take it in. Go to the places you want, spend a little more time there, and just take in what you can there. Friends, what do you think about this? This could be one way to reduce your carbon footprint when you go traveling. Well, we do have more to learn in today's Info Cloud.
Hello friends, welcome to InfoCloud. Hey Garrett, I recently had a reunion with my classmate Johnny from elementary school. He is a very successful entrepreneur and a millionaire now.
Wow, it must have been a special reunion with your old friends.
Indeed. You think that successful people like him would be arrogant? But no, he is down to earth and humble, just like when we were kids.
That's actually very impressive, because it is very easy to be arrogant and full of yourself when you're successful. To be down to earth like that is quite difficult.
When a person is down to earth, they are just normal or practical, even though you might expect them to be arrogant and looking down on others because of their success or position.
Yes, they are on earth, like everyone else here.
The expression down to earth can be used to describe anybody who is very humble and practical.
It is a character trait and attitude that we should all try to have. If you are down to earth, people will be comfortable around you.
当我们碰到一个人的性格相当实在，很好相处，你可以用今天分享的用语 down to earth 来形容他。Down to earth 字面上就是在地上，它可以用来表达一个人非常脚踏实地，没什么架子，待人处事非常谦卑。John is a millionaire and he's very down to earth. John 是一位富豪，但是他为人处事相当实在，很谦卑，意思就是跟他相处起来没什么压力。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Think green. Eco-conscious clicks. The era of one-click purchases has not led to healthy consumption habits. Challenge the norm by prioritizing necessity, favoring second-hand options, and supporting businesses with eco-friendly practices. Redefine what it means to be a conscious consumer and pave the way for sustainable online shopping. In the face of a planet in peril, each conscious choice pushes us toward a brighter future. Join the movement of conscious consumers, and together, let's be the change Earth so urgently needs.
"最后来看 peril 这个名词，意思是极大的危险。譬如 The hikers faced great peril as they tried to find their way across the mountain during the storm. 登山客们在暴风雨中想要寻找穿越山脉的路时，面临极大的危险。或是 In the novel, the hero faces various perils to rescue the villagers from the dragon. 在小说中，英雄从龙的手中拯救村民时，面临了各种艰难的危险。再看一句 Ignoring the warning signs, the sailors sailed into the fog, unaware of the perils that lay ahead. 水手们无视警告标志，驶入浓雾中，丝毫没有注意到前方的危险。
Thanks, Jack. Friends, let's finish out this article by talking about eco-conscious clicks. Now, as we learned earlier, to be conscious means to be aware of something. And clicks, of course, just to remind you, is talking about clicking things on your computer with the mouse, or maybe clicking things with your fingers on your phone. The era of one-click purchases has not led to healthy consumption habits. Now, just to remind you, when we're talking about consumption, it means the amount of things you are consuming or the amount of things you're taking in. This isn't just talking about food, this is also talking about how much you buy.
Sure. I also use this word when talking about maybe what you're learning as well. Like someone is consuming a lot of books. That means they're reading a lot of books, right? Not eating them, of course. But we read here, challenge the norm by prioritizing necessity, favoring second-hand options, and supporting businesses with eco-friendly practices. Just kind of how yesterday we talked about going to second-hand stores to find some things that you might think are pretty cool, right? Those are second-hand options. The word favor here means to show or feel preference for. So of course you have a lot of options, but you're going to favor some things over others.
Well, favoring is kind of similar to that word prioritizing as well. But if you prioritize, it means that you put it in front of other things, or you say that that is the most important thing. So the most important thing here should be necessity, and favoring is kind of like a synonym for that word.
Yeah, do you really need these things, right? Is it really a necessity, or is it just something that you want? Well, let's go to the next sentence here where we see the word redefine. So, just like we learned the word reimagine earlier in this lesson, you can redefine something. Maybe you had a specific definition for something before, but now you need to think about that thing in a little bit of a different way.
That's right. Towards the end of this sentence, we also see that phrase, to pave the way. Redefine what it means to be a conscious consumer and pave the way for sustainable online shopping. Now, if you pave the way somewhere, it means that you are the first one to do it, and everyone who comes after you has an easier job of doing that thing. So for example, maybe there's a scientist and he made some early discoveries. Those discoveries paved the way for the scientists that followed him.
On one of our social media channels, we have a song called What's Stopping You posted there, and it features this phrase, to pave the way for somebody else to have a brighter day. Well, we do see the word brighter here in this next section, right? We're talking about a brighter future. In the face of a planet in peril, each conscious choice pushes us toward a brighter future. And Jack just talked about that word peril, but the adjective form is perilous, and it means dangerous or risky.
All right, join the movement of conscious consumers, and together, let's be the change Earth so urgently needs. Now, if there is a movement, this often means that there are a lot of people who want to see a change, so they come together and they try to work towards that change together. This movement that we're talking about is, of course, being more environmentally conscious. Here's another example of how to use that word. Many movements advocating for change find traction on social media. So a lot of movements happen because of social media.
Well, right now it's time for us to join the Fun Fact movement. Let's see what Ernest Finder is up to right now.
Hello, fact friends! I am Detective Ernest Finder, and I have a fun fact about breathing for you today. Did you know you can reduce your carbon footprint by breathing less? Because our breath releases carbon. It's true, but a better way is to drive less, because we need to breathe. That's today's fun fact.
As we finish our lesson, let's look at one of these talk about it questions, friends. Which of these sustainable tips do you want to try in your life?
Yeah, one thing that our lesson mentioned was that you should eat more local produce or things that are grown close by. It's just something I don't think about too often, is like, oh, where was this food grown that I'm now buying at the supermarket? But that's something that I should probably be a little more intentional about, because even the transportation energy it takes to get from one place to the supermarket leaves a carbon footprint.
That's right. What do you think, friends? What can you do to think green? Talk about that in English, and we'll see you next time right here on Studio Classroom.
I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.